All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all my subscribers and people who are just surfing the net to try to find a video on this. I felt compelled to do this video because there's no instructional video on this tubular chromoly K-member in the arms. Nothing. I searched Google. I searched everywhere. When you type in control arm adjustable, it shows you nothing but the stock tubular replacement arms. Nothing adjustable. So, you know, another reason why is, you know, this is a regular guy putting this stuff in. This isn't a fucking TV show where in 30 minutes the K-member's in and everything's done and clean. This is the real deal shit. This is just a little private garage, as you can tell, doing all this work. So this is a UPR front tube K-member with front adjustable control arms. So again, I did it because there's nothing online in this. So stay tuned in this video because there's some stuff I'm going to show you that's very important that I ran across that nobody knew about. I even called the manufacturer, and they also did not include any instructions. So it's it's 6 bolts, but I feel if you're putting this control arm in with the K-member, you're fairly mechanically inclined. But you know, there's some shit I found on doing this installation is just like I don't know. It's just it was kind of eye-opening. So let's get into the car. So we're gonna start on the passenger side first. So I'm gonna take this skinny off here. And this is, you know, again, this isn't a race garage where everything's perfect. This is just me and my garage. So everything fit pretty good. The bolts attached nicely and everything lined up here, and the back bolts there. Use the stock bolts all the way around. They attached 4 washers to the K-member, and don't tell you where they go. The 2 washers go in the back here and here. Other 2 go on the other side. So these 4 erroneous washers go in the back. I have solid mounts. Those went in very nicely. Again, using the stock bolts and the bolt that they supplied you, of course. But that went in nicely. The K-member bolted up nicely to the frame. The control arms. So they give you these bushings here, 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 and here. They're 4 sizes are the same and 2 sizes are the same. So there's 6 bushings. 2 are different than the other 4. You have to use, if you look closely, this bushing here is shorter than this side. So you have to fucking use the 2 bushings that are the same length bushing here, and a short one here in the front. They don't tell you that. There's no instructions. So again, technically the 1, 2, and 3 all the same length. This front one is shorter. If not, you're going to bend the shit out of these tabs. So again, I'm a broken record. You know, there's no instructions. So the control arms themselves, there's no set length. They don't even tell you where to put these heim joints at. So when I bolted the control arm up, it didn't match up to the ball joint. All right, it was too short. So after fucking around for God knows how long, I set, now pay attention, okay? This is a 99 to 04 body style. I set this heim joint here. It's got to be cockeyed back, not straight. It's got to be canted a bit because the ball joint doesn't line up with the spindle. All right, so I bottomed out the heim joint. All right, I went 16 on this side and 7 on this side. Again, I went from the bottom. I pulled the heim joint all the way in. I backed out 16 turns and 7 turns. At that point, the ball joint lined up with the spindle. I then had to adjust the tie rod to get the rotor straight. Hope you guys are still with me on this, but this is very important shit. You have to take the rack out. The rack comes out. You can't put this bolt in with the rack in. Keep the rack out of the car or hang it and zip tie it. So like I said, these bushings, these heim joints, no instructions. You got to figure it out. So I figured I'd do a video to help everybody out because there's nothing online. Let's go to the other side. Kind of a disaster. They don't tell you this either. So this side here, same thing. Again, here's that. You can see it's longer and shorter. So, two the same length. This third one's the same length as that one. The short side's in the front. And again, it's canted back. So it's 16 in the front, 7 in the back. And adjust the tie rod. It lined up nice and perfect to the frame. One major issue. Listen up. The fucking oil filter doesn't come off. They don't tell you that. So, you either have to take the oil filter off before you put this on and run a shorter filter, or run a remote oil cooler. I called them on this. Look at this. The oil filter basically hits. I can't take it off. It's done. Take the oil filter off the car before we put the K-member in. So they don't tell you that, and again, there's no instructions whatsoever. It's a nice fit if everything lines up perfectly, but SuperTech ST2 is the only short filter you can run, or you run a remote oil cooler. Again, fellas, this fucking filter ain't coming off. Look how close it is. It's done. So I'm gonna run a remote oil cooler. So this is a setup on the car. I hope everyone's still with me, but there's some shit on this installation that nobody told you about. So take the rack out, keep it out, because this bolt doesn't come out right there. Take the oil filter off the fucking car, or else you'll never get it off. You have to cut it off and then run a shorter filter or remote filter. Again, this filter's not coming off unless I cut it off, which that's the way it is. So that is my instructional video on this. It's a nice setup, but there's some stuff here, guys, that no one told me about that I ran across. So this is my next project happening right now. Solvent intake out of rock, 90 throttle body rails. As you can see, it's going in there. I'm gonna try to go as deep in the 10s as I can on a stock long block. So thank you very much for watching, and hope this helped anybody doing this installation. Feel free to message me, man. Take care, guys. Peace.